I just got done watching Thor Love and Thunder on the big screen, and I have some things I want to talk about for this movie, guys. So make sure you stick to the end so you can catch my rating for this film. And without further ado, I'll see you on the other side of the review. Let's go. What's going on, you guys? The Demigod back on Demigod ENT, and today I'm bringing you another movie review for Thor Love and Thunder. Of course, Thor's fourth movie inside the MCU, coming off the high that was Thor Ragnarok. And did it live up to expectations? Well, we're about to talk about that right now. So first things first, guys, of course, this is a 2-hour movie. They cut a lot out of this film. We got Thor in here, Chris Hemsworth. We got Jane Foster in here, the mighty Thor. Tessa Thompson as Valkyrie. We got Korg here. We got some screaming goats in here, tons of gods, goddesses, things like that. And then also we have Gore, the God Butcher, Christian Bale. In my opinion, the best part of this movie. Man, Gore inside this movie, I'm just gonna start with Gore, guys, because Christian Bale going into this movie, that's what I was most excited to see. To be completely honest with you, I wanted to see his performance. I wanted to see how he did as a villain, and he did not disappoint. However, that doesn't mean that the movie did not disappoint. Now, Gore inside of here, he doesn't get enough screen time, guys. I mean, he's in the movie for what I want to say is 20 to 25 minutes. If it's more than that, I'll honestly be surprised, because he had like 4 scenes inside of this film. I mean, what's going on here, guys? We should have got so much more inside of here, especially with the performance he was giving. Every time he was on screen, it was breathtaking. His performance was fantastic. Christian Bale does not miss. Absolutely great. In terms of our other characters inside of here, I would say relatively across the board, they all did a good job. From Thor to the mighty Thor to Valkyrie, they were all really good inside of this movie. And of course, if you witnessed the trailers, you would know that we get to see tons of other gods inside of this movie, which me personally, I really liked seeing that. I loved seeing, you know, the other gods inside the MCU that we just haven't had talked about yet, but we know that they're there due to the comic books, right? And we get some big god players inside of this movie, but we didn't get enough of it, man. It's like they all made cameos, they all had one scene, and I gotta say, man, there's a lot of good with this movie and there's a lot of bad with this movie. So starting with the good, obviously Gore, all of our other characters inside of here. The Guardians of the Galaxy make a cameo inside of here. They're not in the movie as much as you would expect them to be, if you expected them to be in the movie whatsoever outside of the trailers, right? The first act inside of this movie is all over the place, guys. I mean, tonally, this movie as a whole is all over the place. It just does not know what it wants to be. At some points, it wants to be a rom-com. At other points, it wants to be like this thriller with Gore the God Butcher. I mean, it feels like 2 to 3 different movies inside of this film. I don't know what they were trying to go for with this. We take such a serious villain with a serious story. Even Jane inside of this movie, Jane Foster, the mighty Thor, has what I would relatively consider a serious story inside of this movie. No spoilers. But with that, we get so much comedy. I get it. The success of Thor Ragnarok, they thought, let's do Ragnarok, but more. I understand what they were trying to go for, kind of, but it just doesn't hit the marker, man. I mean, so many moments inside of here that were supposed to be taken seriously, and I get it. They did this with Thor Ragnarok. Some serious events inside that movie were taken as a joke, but in this movie, it's to another level, guys. I'm telling you. I mean, to be completely honest with you, this movie, for a majority of the runtime, I would say the entire movie damn near, except for like Gore's scenes, it felt like straight parody. I mean, it felt like they were literally making like a joke video and just giving that to us as the film. It's just an insane concept and idea here. What the hell are we doing with this film, man? Now, to be fair, I walked into this movie with very high expectations. I'll be honest. I really thought this was going to be one of the best movies of the year, if not one of the best just MCU movies of the year, and it wasn't. And that hurts me and pains me to say. As an MCU fan, I wanted this movie to be great so bad. I'm a huge fan of Taika Waititi as a director, but for some reason, he just has this thing that he has to do where everything is always jokes, everything's always comedy. And I get it, we're watching an MCU film, right? That's always going to be inside these movies. But guys, like I said, this is parody by this point. This is taking it way past the line. It's gone too far. We need to pull back some. Let's get some more seriousness back in here. We're talking about serious events here. We're talking about gods being butchered and killed, and it's all played for a joke. the entire thing pretty much is played for a joke. So disappointing, honestly. And this is coming from someone who really liked Thor Ragnarok. I know a lot of y'all out there do too. Some people do have their problems with the movie, and I could see why now, because let me tell you, if you didn't like Thor Ragnarok, you're most likely going to hate and despise this film, to be completely honest with you. Now, if you liked Thor Ragnarok or loved Thor Ragnarok like your boy did, I think you'll at least enjoy the movie, but I really can't see anyone being high on this movie unless you're just an MCU fanboy. Honestly. Now, from the first act, I thought the jokes were hitting. I thought they were good. I liked a lot of them. I did. But after the first act, from the second act and the third act, the jokes go downhill. The crowd stopped laughing at every single moment they were trying to throw. I mean, they're just throwing jokes at a wall and just hoping, you know, something sticks is pretty much what this felt like. It felt like we needed more here, and I understand they cut a lot out of this film. You can definitely feel it, let me tell you, because there were scenes inside the trailer, lines of dialogue that Gore the God Butcher states with inside the trailer, and it just wasn't here. I noticed it immediately. Well, where's that scene? Whoa, where's that line of dialogue? You know what I'm saying? And I really feel like it would have filled in some gaps here that this movie is missing. The pace of this movie is super fast. I mean, they're speeding through it the whole time. The tones of this movie is incohesive. It doesn't go together. In terms of the romance inside of this film, I will say I liked what they were going for with Thor and the mighty Thor, Jane Foster. I did like that dynamic there and that kind of rekindle of a relationship from the previous movies and actually making it, you know, more solid inside of this film. I really liked what they did with the mighty Thor. I was unsure about that from the trailers going into this movie. I was kind of mixed feelings about it, but I liked what they did with it. I think they did the character respectfully and, to my understanding, true to how she is inside the comic books, at least, you know, with the backstory and everything for the character and how she ends up with the powers of Thor, of course. The whole realm that you see inside of the trailer where everything is just void of color and everything's just black and white, I really liked those scenes. That was very strong. However, that wasn't in the movie for very long. The soundtrack and the music that they used inside of this film was fantastic, of course, but they're playing a lot of like classic rock bangers. So of course the soundtrack and the score is going to be fine with that part of the movie. They're using classic music. But overall, guys, this is one of the most disappointing movies in phase 4 of the MCU, and I stand by that statement. Now, to be honest, I probably will see this movie again, whether I wait for it to come out or I go back to the cinemas to watch it, because I feel like it needs to be reevaluated by me. I need to make sure that I seen what I seen. But first reaction out of the cinemas, this is how I feel. I wouldn't be surprised if you watch other reviews and people are saying, you know, some similar things. I'll definitely go check those out once I'm done with this video and upload this video for you guys. I'll see what the rest of the community had to say. But other than that, man, let's just go ahead and drop the rating for this film. I'm sure I'm missing some things that I wanted to state, but let's just drop the rating for you guys. I'm going to give Thor Love and Thunder a 7 out of 10. It gets the 7 out of 10. Again, I expected it to be way higher than that. I was really expecting like an 8 to 9 range, and it didn't live up to my expectations, as you could tell. Now, everyone else that I went with to see this film, they walked in with low expectations and they ended up around the same rating, same score. So there you go, if you were curious how, you know, other people felt about it that I interacted with. But other than that, guys, that's my review for the film. I hope it comes out more cohesive than this movie did. And with that being said, those are my thoughts on this movie. Let me know your thoughts on this film down in the comment section down below. If you don't know why I do on Demigod and do commentaries, reactions, and reviews, so if you're interested in that, in the right place, man, hit subscribe, hit the like button. I drop multiple videos a week on the channel, so you can expect out of me. And if you don't already know, I am the Demigod, the chosen one, here on Demigod ENT. And I'm out of this thing, man. I'll catch you on the next video. Peace.